I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out my doors and windows on my first floor first. So here I'm going to select the slab and I'm going to hit hide. And there I can do this worm view, and here I can see my floor plan underneath my walls, and I'm going to use that as reference to begin to push pull my doors and windows. So here I'm going to click my group and I'm going to open that group. So now I'm in this group, and let's select the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to begin to outline my openings here. So I'm just going to go around the perimeter of the house, and it depends on if you just want an exterior model. We just need to go around the exterior of the house. If you're trying to do a complete model of the whole house, then we would just continue doing this inside the house as well. But for right now, I'm just concerned about getting the exterior model done, so I'm just going to work on push pulling the exterior. So just keep going around and finding openings, and just use your rectangle tool to break up those faces. You can see we're doing. Go to my garage over here, and I'm gonna break that over here. Another door opening. Oh. So again, you can see that it's very beneficial to have a clean plan. See, I'm not worried about selecting, more than one line. It's, very simple, very clean. So if you can import your CAD plan with just the minimal amount of layers possible, it'll speed up your process. Okay, so that's all my openings. Now I'm going to select the push pull tool, and now I can select these faces and begin to push them. So I'm going to select this. This is going to be my garage door. I'm going to type 8 foot because my header will be at 8 feet, and that's what I'm going to use throughout the first floor for all my door openings is 8 foot. So here I have another opening. This one's not necessarily a door, but I'm going to make it at 8 foot. This is our front door, so I'm going to make that 8 foot. Over here, this is a window. I'm going to do 8 foot, and then I'm going to come back down 2 foot because this is going to be more of a transom window. And then what I just did there, I just used the push pull tool to help clean up the window, the wall surface. And here I'm pushing the surface, and as you can see, when it turns, when it hits another surface, it will stop. And when it says on face, I'm going to go ahead and click, and then it went ahead and deleted that, so it cleans up for us there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this line here, and let's continue on. Oh, then this is the one that we had to add that line, so I'm going to erase that. And let me turn on and off the 1F layer, and you can see what we did around the perimeter. And again, we're just using our CAD layer as a reference so that it stays clean, and we don't lose lines from our CAD layers. So it's in a separate group on a separate layer, so I can turn it off and on, and not have to worry about it getting sticky with my 3D services. All right, go 8 foot, come back down 6 foot. There's going to be a big picture window, and then here it's creating a new surface, but I just wanted to extend that because I'm just trying to clean it up. I just hit toggle to change that, and then there we go. And as you do this more, you'll get very fast with it. This one I'm going to put at 5 foot. Oops. Okay, try it again. 5 feet, enter. And then again, just clean up as we go. And delete this line. Oh, let's turn back on our 1F so we can kind of see the rooms we're dealing with. So here, this is a shower window. So this is going to be, we're going to have it at 8 foot, but it's only going to be a 2 foot window, transom window. Let me go ahead and clean that up. This is a bedroom window. Let's go ahead and make that 3 by 6, so 3 foot by 6 foot. Whoops. All right, this is going to be our back door windows or sliders for the master bedroom. So we'll go ahead and make those 8 foot. And this is our living room. We're gonna have a big slider over here. We'll make that 8 foot as well. And here's our garage door. So here I'm only worried about the 8 foot the height of it, because I already have my openings from CAD, so I don't have to, you know, come from, if I was doing it on this surface, I would have to type in 8 foot, 3 foot, and come back down. And so I just find this method to be a lot quicker than some of the other methods I've seen on the internet. Let's go up 8 foot. And then here I already know it's 8 foot, so I could just use that inferencing to match some of those. And here we'll do this one at, let's do 2 foot. We'll make this a smaller window. Actually, let's go make this 6 foot. Go ahead and delete these faces over here. Okay, so there we are, almost done with our first floor, cutting out our wall and our door and window openings. So let's just take a look back at that, and then, you know, we could keep cleaning up some of these things. You can see some of these lines that as we go through our plan. And there we go. So there's our first floor with our window and door openings cut out. So now let's do the same thing on our second floor. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to hide my floor system. And I'm going to kind of get in this worm view again. And I'm going to go ahead and double click. And let's do this again using our rectangle tool. And I'm only doing a 9 foot wall. I'm doing 9 foot walls in the second floor, so I'm going to use a header height of 7 foot here. And we'll make this one a pretty long window. We'll go to 5 foot here. And well, let's go around the plan and let's cut out these openings first. This way I'm not going from one command to another. I could just, while I'm in this the rectangle tool, I could just do this all at once. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's push this one up. We'll go 7 feet, and we'll go ahead and match that at 5 foot. Let's go ahead and clean this up. Hopefully you're getting faster with this already. And here I'm just going to match that 7 foot header height. Come back down 2 foot. These will be some more narrow windows. Up there, I think okay, let's try that again. And we'll make these, we'll go ahead and make these some narrow windows as well, 2 foot. And this will go back down 5 feet here. We'll do the same thing here. Header at 7 foot, come back down 5 feet. Let's go ahead and push these up. And these we will, let's go down to 5 feet. So hopefully you're getting to see that you can really knock out some plans really quick with SketchUp. It's really a really great tool. This one, let's keep this one at 4 foot. This one will be a little bit more, a little smaller. This one's going to be part of this this great family room here. It's going to be a 2-story volume here. And here we have another group of windows. Okay. Here we have a closet. We'll make these some narrow windows. And hopefully you're also learning to use your camera tools efficiently. I like to move around a lot and look at them all from different views, make sure I'm not missing anything. I put these at 5 feet, header at 7 foot, and 5 foot tall window. And do that. And we are almost done. Okay. And I'm going to go back down 5 feet here. And push that. Okay, so I think we are done with this. Let me go ahead and unhide my second floor. And let me go ahead and hit unhide all, because I know I have my slab over there. Okay, so now we have our first floor with the openings, and we have our second floor as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. Put my second floor above the first floor, and there's a couple ways I can do that. One is because I already know that I've moved my plan originally over 200 feet, so I could select all my layers here, and I could hit the move command, and I could go 200 feet, and there it's right on top of it. And I know I created this floor system, or the first floor. I know it's at 10 feet, I believe. But I created a floor system, so my floor system is, I believe it was 1'6". Yes, and there it is. So now I know I have my floor directly above my plan. So there we go. So the next thing we will do is start creating our windows and doors, and then we'll get into groups and components with that. So let's go ahead and move into that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create a new layer for my windows and doors. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a new layer. Let's call this one S, windows and doors. And I'm going to go ahead and make that active. And let's go ahead and start drawing our windows. I'm going to use a line tool for this. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a 4 foot by 2 foot rectangle, and I'm gonna double click and make this a group. I'm gonna offset this 2 inches and offset 1 inch, and I'm gonna go ahead and make this 4 inches deep, and I'm gonna push back this surface 2 inches and this surface 1 inch. And I'm gonna just reverse that face. And now I'm going to apply a material in my, I'm in the translucent category, and I'm just going to apply translucent glass gray to that window pane there. And there I have my window. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. And go ahead and copy that again. Now we can see that it doesn't fit here, and that's because I had a 4-inch gap in between these windows. So I'm going to go ahead and move these windows over so I can add that gap. And I'm just putting 4 inches in between each one. And I'm going to go ahead and draw another rectangle. I'm going to use my rectangle tool for this. And I'm going to go ahead and select all of these. And let's go ahead and select our windows as well. And I'm going to hit the move tool, and I'm going to move this back 5 inches. And let's go ahead and reverse these faces again. One reason we reverse the faces is so that when we render, when I'm using the rendering software, Twilight Render, it actually treats the faces different, and it's always good to have it on this this white face. So just something I try to keep in mind when I'm modeling. So now we're going to make a big picture window here, and I'm going to use those same parameters of 2 inches and 1 inch just for my window frame, and just a little window ledge there. And here we go. I'm going to push this in 4 inches, and if we want to see that, we can go in here. So I went 4 inches, and then I'm going to push this in, and I'm just toggling the create new surface, or just extend, or just push. So I just want to push this in 2 inches and push this in 1 inch. And let me go ahead and make those that face, and then let's go ahead and make this pane glass here. And there we've created another window. And now I'm going to click and drag this, and for this window I'm going to use the move command. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to hit move command, and I'm just going to drag and stretch this down. And let's go ahead and grab this corner, and I'm going to grab this, and there, just save me a couple steps from having to design a whole new window. And I'm going to set this in 5 inches as well. And now I'm going to make a group out of this. I'm going to make this group a component, because this is a window that I'm going to repeat a couple times in this model. And when I make a component, if I make a change to it, let's say I want to add an extra division in this window. Let's say I wanted to create a division right there. And there we see it went ahead and created it in this window as well. So anytime you have a lot of windows that are the same, you know, it's a good habit to make components out of that, so you're not having to update or copy a window several times. You could just do it to one, and it'll apply it to all of them. And this I'm going to only inset a little bit less. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and drag that over here. And let's go ahead and make this, let's move this window over here. Now we can see that this is a different size, but since I made it a component, if I change the width of it, it will change these as well, which I do not want. So there's a couple things I can do. When we create a component, if I just stretch the group like that, it does not affect the component. Now, if I open the group and anything I do inside of that it will affect all the others. Now, what I did here is I stretched the whole window, which will kind of distort the scale just slightly. So if you're doing a 3D model and you're not worried about bringing it back into AutoCAD for construction documents, and it's not a big deal that it's just slightly off in the measurements there, might not be a big deal. You know, if you're just using it for a presentation. But there's another way we can do this. I'm going to go ahead and undo what I did, and I could just click here, and just the way I just did it was oh, before I do that, I need to make this component unique so that it will still be a component, but it will not be linked to these. So now it's its own component. So I could grab this and stretch this down 12 inches, a foot, and there, it did not change those. Now if I copy this again, now it's a component again. So if I make any changes here, you can see that it will be applied to all further ones I copy, unless I made this second one unique. So that's one way we can edit components. All right, so let's continue on. I'm going to copy some windows around this end. Just go ahead and push that in. And let's see, let me hit all the 5-inch windows before I come back and do some of those other ones. Or 5-foot windows, I mean. I think I said 5-inch. Okay. And here we see that does not quite fit in that opening there. I could stretch that opening, or I could just grab all 3 of these windows, use my scale command, and find that middle point there, and there I could just scale it and refer to this corner, and it will scale it right in that opening. So just a quick little trick to model quickly. And I'm gonna go ahead and stretch this one. Oh, there we see it's a component. I do not want it to change all my windows here, so I'm going to make this one unique. And go ahead and drag that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and finish back here. And let's make this unique. I'm going to drag this up to, whoops, just 1 inch. I mean 1 foot. Okay, here I'm going to, this opening is 16 feet, so I want these to be 4x4 windows. And right now I believe they are 3 feet, so it's 3x3. 3x4, I'm sorry. So I'm going to grab this and stretch it over 12 inches. So now I have a 4x4 window. And I'm going to go ahead and make some copies of this. And let's go ahead and copy these over on this side. Use my rotate command. 90 degrees. Select those and push them in a little bit. And alright, let's work on these transom windows over here. And let's go ahead and make that unique. And grab that and stretch that up 2 feet. Oops. And there I was not moving it along my blue axis. You can see, make sure it locks in there before you move it, before you type in your dimension. 2 feet, there we go. Let's go ahead and rotate that. And again, I'm gonna make that one unique here. And you don't have to make them components. You can just leave it as a group in itself and it will not be linked to anything. But again, you know, if you're going to make multiple copies of it, it could come in useful to have it as a component. So I'm going to grab this one, this window component here, and I know that they're the same size over here. I'm just going to go ahead and rotate that. Okay, and I believe, oh, just forgot our windows right here. We'll get those and then we will be done with our windows in our model, and then we can move on to the doors. So hopefully you're getting to see how, you know, you can really begin to build your model fairly quickly using this method. So let's see, there's a pretty big opening here. Let's make this match what we have down here. And the way we did that is let's make this one unique, and let's see, we have, let me push this over here. Let's make sure our opening is matching. So I'm just making sure it's the same there. So we had 4-foot transom, so we want 4-foot windows here. So I'm going to stretch this 12 inches. And just make sure I didn't change any of my other windows doing that. And let's move this over 4 inches. Let's go ahead and copy and drag that. Drag that. There we go. So now we have our same situation that we have downstairs, upstairs. And let's go ahead and push that back. Okay, now we are done with our windows in our model. So let's move on to adding doors. So to insert my doors, what I'm going to do is actually go to 3D Warehouse, and I'm going to grab a door that I want to use for that. And I can do that by going to File, 3D Warehouse, Get Models, and here I could type in, you know, a door or whatever it is I want to find. However, I've already got the door that I want, and you could also just go to 3dwarehouse.com and easily access, you know, the library. And this is the door that I want to insert, and you go here to download, and just make sure you download to the version you have, or earlier. You don't want to go to a later version because you will not be able to open it up. So if I have 2015, I need to get 2015 or lower. So I've already downloaded this, so I'm going to go ahead and open that file, and here we can see the door, and there's some other things in this file as well, but I only want this door, so I'm just going to click on this and hit edit copy, and going to go ahead and edit paste, and there's my door, and I'm going to go ahead and place it over here. Let's rotate that 90 degrees, and there we can see that it doesn't quite fit in there, so I'm going to go ahead and stretch it so that it does. And here it's a little bit in there, so I'm okay with that. And so one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a little bit of framework around this door, and to do that I'm just going to use my pencil tool, and I'm going to go ahead and create a header and a transom above here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a 6-inch header. And let's go ahead and I'm going to square this off here. I'm just creating some more divisions here so I can actually convert this to a window. And I'm going to go ahead and offset this 2 inches and 1 inch. And there I'm going to push this back 2 inches and 1 inch there. Let's go ahead and reverse these faces. And go ahead and change that. Okay, so later we'll get into applying materials to this, and we will also add a roof a little bit later. But let's go ahead and go around our model and keep adding doors. Right here I'm going to add a garage door, and it's basically just going to be a material. So I'm going to make it a group, and let's go ahead and give it a thickness of 2 inches. I'm just going to pull it out 2 inches, and then I'm just going to slide this whole door inside. Let's go ahead and move it in 5 inches. Actually, this one's pretty thick, so let's move it in another foot. And okay. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and apply the material, which I'm just going to use the same material from this door. I'm going to apply it to my garage door. And there we can see there's it doesn't quite fit in there, and we can adjust that by going to our edit command. And here we see there's some values that we can adjust for that texture, but I don't want to mess up my door scale for that material, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new material. And let's see, I'm going to first let's break this. I don't want it to be, I just want it to be longer. I don't want to change the width of these wood panels, but I want to change the length of them. So let's try this. Let's try changing this to 16 feet, and let's see what it does. And let's hit OK. Let's call this garage door. Let's give it a new name. I'm just going to hit enter, hit OK. So now that material is active, we can go ahead and apply it here. And there we see that looks a little bit better. Now what I did there, let me go back. I'm going to reposition this material on this surface. So I'm going to go to texture. I just clicked on this, right clicked, go to texture, position, and here I can move it. And I could also scale it in here as well by grabbing these grips right here. This one I could actually rotate, and I could scale. So I could scale it along this line, and I could rotate it as well. So I'm going to just stretch it out just a little bit so that we don't see those seam lines there. And that looks good right there. And I'm just going to click out of it, and there we go. So just a quick little material edit there. And there's a lot more things we can do with materials and adding custom textures, which we will get into in the next lesson. So let's go ahead and add a couple more doors. And let's see. And I realized we just missed a couple windows, so I'm going to go ahead and fix those in a minute. So let's draw these doors right here. And let's do 3.0 by 8.0. And go ahead and close that. I'm going to double click and make this into a group. And let's stretch this back 2 inches. And let's offset this in 2 inches as well. And let's go ahead and make 4 divisions in this door. And there's a couple ways we can do that. One, because it's going to be an even number of divisions, I can simply click on this midpoint and drag, and it automatically breaks this line. And I could click on another midpoint there, another midpoint there. So, but there's another way I can do this, is just clicking on it, and I could hit divide, and there I could change right now it's set to 7 segments. I could change it to 4 segments, and now it will be divided into 4 segments. So now you can see there's an endpoint, endpoint, endpoint. It would also create midpoints in between those as well. So now it's a little bit harder to see because of the style that I have it in, But if we changed our style to see endpoints, you would be able to see these nodes a little bit. But I know they're there, and I know that that's correct. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw some lines to divide there. And then let's offset this 1/2 inch. And then now I'm going to use this inferencing command where it's just going to refer to this dimension that I just typed in, and I'm going to double click and it should offset it automatically to that 1/2 inch. This is the last value that I inputted. So let's try that. Double click and there it goes. So I don't saving me the time of entering another dimension again. So let's push this in 2 inches. Actually, this is 1 inch. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of grabbing this and pushing it here and making it match, I could just double click and it'll match that distance that I previously entered. So very useful tool to quickly, and he's going to clean that up, just to quickly just create some models, create just services and things. It just really helps things out. So let's reverse those faces and let's push this this mullions over here. Let's make this 1/2 inch in, and let's apply some glass material to this. Let's go to translucent glass gray. Oops, let's back up. And now I don't really see it breaking through, so I have a surface here that I didn't pull all the way through. So let's grab this and let's drag this along here. You may have to toggle your control command to make sure that it's pulling through, and let's go ahead and click that, and there it just automatically cleaned that up. Now let's go ahead and give this a surface here. We can do that. Let's just close it. Let's see, make sure I'm grabbing the right thing here, and there, just kind of close that group there. I'm not too worried about the inside looking correctly at this point because I'm just concerned about my exterior render. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail with that right now, but when I go back and start to work on interior shots, then I will change some of that. So here I'm going to we see the door opening is not quite the same, so I'm just going to use my stretch tool to make it match. And let's go push that in. Let's go ahead and push that in a couple inches. And now this door is actually wider, so I'm going to grab this, make a copy of it, and this one's going to be, I'm going to stretch it over 1 foot because we want it to match this opening up here, these 4-foot windows and doors. Want them to be the same. And let's go ahead and copy them. And again, because I adjusted that here, it's not quite the same, but I could just use the stretch command. Grab all of them at the same time. Let's grab that point there. And there we go. It's going to push it in a couple inches. All right. So now for this garage door, I'm going to just keep making it a real simple door. Just going to draw a rectangle and just let's offset it 2 inches. And let's push it in 1 inch. And then let's just remove that. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything fancy for this door. We will apply material to it, but I'm going to drag this for this door over here. Just going to rotate that. And we could get as detailed as we want with this. We could add panels to it. We could add doorknobs. Just depends on how much you want to do and show in your model. I'm going to grab one of these. Actually, I think it's more closer to this size. And this one's going to be for this larger door or window unit here. And there we go, that fit perfectly in there. And now we just have one more garage door here, and for this one I'm actually going to change this from 2 doors to 1 large door. So I'm going to go ahead and do some cleaning up here, some push pulling, and let's measure this. Let's go ahead and use our dimension tool to measure this. There we see we have a 20-foot opening, and I actually want this. Let's do a 16-foot opening. So let's push it in 2 foot on each side. So I'm going to go 2 feet this side and push it in 2 feet here. So now my garage door opening is 16 feet. Let's go ahead and delete that. And let's go ahead and create a garage door. Okay, I'm going to make this a group. Let's go ahead and offset 2 inches inside. And for this one, I'm going to make 4 divisions along the horizontal axis of this, and let's see how many divisions we want to do here. Where's my midpoint? So we got a midpoint right here, and we'll go ahead and just keep that 4 divisions as well over on this side as well. And let's go ahead and offset this in 1 inch. And let's see if we could double click and repeat that. Yep, sure can. So I'm just double clicking and repeating that offset distance. And let's push this in 2 inches. And I'm going to double click and repeat that distance on all these. And then I'm going to go ahead, let's do some cleaning up. Let's hit our eraser tool and let's clean up some of these lines here. And that looks good. And let's go ahead and push this in. Let's push this in 1 inch. All right, there we go. There we have our garage door. And let's go back and add these couple windows that we missed here. Or that I missed. You may not have missed them, but I did. Let's go ahead and grab one of these windows. Let's rotate it. Go ahead and copy that. And let's copy these over here. We can see that these are different size, so I'm going to go ahead and stretch that. Let's go ahead and grab them all and just inset them in there a little bit. Let's push them in 2 inches. And one more here. And let's take a look around our model, make sure we didn't miss any others. Okay, I think we are good. So there we go. We've inserted our doors and windows in this model.